What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel, and we're on the S14 again today. So over the weekend I came down here and worked on the Civic, kind of cleaned up some of the wiring and stuff on it. And before I got started on that for the day, I went ahead and actually pulled out all the little self tappers in here, and then just went ahead and kind of filled in those holes and then kind of smoothed it out. So the quarter panels are officially on there, and then I went ahead and just kind of filled these little hole things in the back with panel bond as well, and basically went down to bare metal on all that stuff. And so we should be able to just kind of grind this stuff out, use a little bit of filler on there. And I was gonna go ahead and actually weld on these, but when you end up welding on really thin sheet metal like that, it just kind of tends to warp it and distort it and stuff. So so I figured that would be good enough with that panel bond stuff. So yeah, we have this little situation right here to deal with, which is going to be the gas door. So I went ahead and trimmed it most of the way out and then used that foam on the inside. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is just kind of wire wheel some of this stuff out, some of that foam, and then actually use just a little bit of like fiberglass reinforced body filler right there. And then so along this top seam right here, basically I'm going to grind that down pretty good, and then we're going to go ahead and actually use some body filler and start the actual smoothing in of this whole process. I don't think I'm actually going to do much with this bottom piece right here. Like I'm not going to mold this in and put like filler to kind of bridge that gap, just because the side skirt pretty much just goes right above there. So we'll clean it up a little bit, make it look a little bit better. I'm not going to go crazy with it. This car also does have a few more dents in it as well. Honestly, it was really straight body. So we have like this one right here. That's on the door, so there's a nice little ding there. The roof and everything looks really good. And then come over here to the other side. There is a little scratch, a couple little things right here, but overall not too bad. No hail damage or anything crazy like that. But yeah, one of the other concerns I have with doing all this is since these are fiberglass, they are going to have a little bit of a wave to them. So one of the tricks I'm going to do with that is, since it's already white, I'm just going to spray a little bit of guide coat on it and kind of block it out, just to kind of see where we're at with that. So that way when I actually do my first coat of filler on everything, I could just kind of skim most of it, and when I do my first block, we'll get pretty straight right away. So yes, I'm just going to hop into that. Let's see how far we get today. All right, so I've been messing with this thing for a little while, and like I said, I went ahead and I threw some guide coat on it. But before I did that, I basically sanded this whole panel with 80 grit, so that way if I did have to do body work on it, it would have some good tooth to kind of hold into, and that way we could kind of leave that guide coat on there to kind of see where we're at. So you can see right here, it kind of looks like a cow. So we got like some little black spots, white and black spots. So low spot, low spot, low spot right here, there, this kind of thing right here. So it's basically, it's high right here, and then that's basically this, and this is level, and then this is a low spot because it didn't sand that guide coat. So so yeah, basically it's not really that bad at all. It's basically just a little skim. Same thing with right here. So you can see there's a little, definitely a low spot right there, and then some stuff over here, a little bit of a low spot right there. So yeah, what I did in the really spots where I'm actually gonna have to put a little bit of filler is, you could kind of see that crisscross crosshatch in there, and basically I just did that with 36 grit, and then went ahead and sanded that whole line right there where the panel bond is, just because that stuff kind of has like a shine to it, because it's like sealed. So went ahead and scuffed that with the 36 grit too. So now I'm gonna go ahead and mix up some body filler and start laying it on here. And this thing is, I'm gonna have to mix up a lot, but we're gonna end up sanding a lot of it off, before it's all done. So you see me putting it on, it's because it's all pretty much coming off, but that's pretty much what you have to do to get it straight. So let's get started on that. Gave up on the S14, pushed it out here, got it out of here, kicked it out of the shop, and so we actually moved it over to our neighbors. So if you guys know Brandon, he helped me out a lot with you know, kind of roughing in a lot of the body work on the Supra, and so he's actually down in Texas right now doing some health stuff. And so the guy that actually kind of moved into his shop and took over that, he's been around for about the past year, kind of working here and there with Brandon as well. And he has his own shop, and he's just kind of decided to set up shop here now. So anyhow, I roll it over there, and he is actually going to do basically the kind of roughing in bodywork. I was just kind of working on it and just getting frustrated with myself, just because I'm not as fast with that, and especially the shapes that are actually on the quarter panels, them being like big round things. He's done a lot of restoration work, a lot of hot rod stuff where it's big round freaking bubbly corners and fenders and stuff, so he's really good at that type of stuff. So basically he came over here yesterday, and I was like, hey, you know, how much to do this for me, you know, can you do this? And he's like, no, I'll bring it over, you know, I'll take care of you. So it's actually over there right now, so we're gonna go get a little update, see if he's actually got started on it yet. But yeah, again, the quarter panels on that thing, I wish we would have showed you guys a video of it yesterday. Literally, it was just every piece of fiberglass that we put on that car, since it was kind of like a cheaper set, was just like, it was like cellulite. I mean, it was just so ripply and just bubbly, like literally the whole thing needs freaking skimmed. And he's gonna do a lot faster than me, and it's gonna give me a chance to kind of focus on some other stuff. So let's run over there real quick and see how he's doing. All right, guys, so I'm getting ready to suit up and actually go help Josh a little bit. So he started working on it. Obviously, he has a lot of other stuff going on with like insurance jobs and all this kind of stuff. And you know, I am kind of trying to get it done fairly soon. And that is just kind of a lot of work, you know, that he's kind of almost doing me as a favor. And it's weird just standing there watching him kind of do stuff. So he was really just trying to show me, you know, how to get those curves and you know, the arch, since it is so round. And like I said, he's done so much stuff with the restoration wise. He's really good at that stuff, but kind of the first initial stage, which is kind of throwing the first skim on it, you know, I feel like it's just kind of wasting his time when he could be doing other stuff. So I basically told him, I'm like, hey, I'm gonna go grab some of my stuff real quick. You know, what is the fastest way that we could get this thing done? And he's like, you know, if we both kind of work on it, obviously teamwork makes the dream work. And if it's just one freaking person, anybody who's ever worked on your car by yourself in the garage, or if you've ever done paint and body work by yourself, it just, it takes so much time. And then the more you look at it, you're just like sitting there, you want to kick yourself in the head, because you're like, man, why am I doing this? So I'm gonna go over there and help him, and basically we're just gonna tag team this thing and try to get it knocked out, try to get it roughed in pretty good. So Again, it's always nice to kind of have his eyes there too, and you know, his hands to kind of feel it and be like, all right, this is looking good, this isn't looking good, and go from there. So. Alright guys, so it is a hot one today. So I basically brought it back over to my shop after he kind of showed me a little bit more what to do, which was kind of exactly what I needed to do. I just didn't want to do it, which is freaking skim the whole thing. This is pretty much what we had to do on the Supra, just because, you know, there were so many, basically any old car that you want straight, you need to skim it. Like, so basically you literally cover the whole thing in a, it's probably like a 1/16 of an inch, somewhere in there, of filler, maybe a little bit in other spots. But basically you just kind of cover the whole freaking thing and you just block it. So right now I'm kind of waiting for that perfect moment before it gets too hard, where it kind of shaves off really nice. Otherwise, when this stuff gets really hard, it's just a pain to sand. So I'm pretty much right there right now. It's like 100 and some degrees outside. It's like 80 here in the shop. So 36 grit paper, and basically just try to get it as fast as you can. Kind of start shaping this thing into, you know, getting her into shape. You can see it kind of clogs the paper just a little bit, but if you get her going, this is how you get her straight. Basically just start frickin' sanding on it. I'm freaking tired after all this sanding today. So I think this is how you turn your $200 fenders into $600 fenders, and not by actually value, but just by labor hours that you have in them. So if you spend $200 on your fenders, you're gonna have $600 worth of labor in them, turning them into $400 fenders, something like that. But yeah, and I wish I would have just probably bought some other fenders, but overall these ones are turning out nice. The biggest issue that pretty much every one of them had was right here. There was kind of a low spot that was kind of flat, and you can kind of still see there's just one little smidge right here. Just gonna go ahead and add a little bit more on that. But yeah, literally been working on this thing probably about 6 hours today or so, basically non-stop, and definitely a lot of freaking work. But yeah, as you can see, all the white spot is the actual panel, and then all of the kind of greenish bluish stuff is where it's actually all basically all filler on there. And again, it's probably about a 1/16 of an inch, you know, maybe an eighth or you know, a quarter, and I guess maybe some of the spots where there's actually like a big dip. But yeah, you can see basically all the fenders got a good little skim. I had this little damage right there, basically blocked this whole thing. And so yeah, Josh is actually going to be working on it a little bit tomorrow. Ty went ahead and pulled a bunch of stuff out of the engine bay and actually got most of that stuff sanded too. So I don't know, I always forget, you know, how much time and effort it actually takes to do paint and body work. As you guys know, who've been around for a long time, I don't even know how many videos I had of the Supra, you know, sanding it and doing basically just primer and blocking it. And, you know, there was just so many videos, and, you know, that whole project, you know, start to finish took about 2 years. You know, it sat around for, I would say, a year and, you know, a quarter. I mean, of actual month, you know, actual time working on it, there's probably about 6 months. But now I kind of feel like that's almost what's happening to this thing, is we're just taking like all of that same work, like all the same body work. Obviously we had to do a lot of work to the quarters on the Supra. We had to do a lot of work on the front fenders, not as much so on the doors and stuff like that in the shell of this thing. But again, just a ton of body work on it, and just a lot of labor, a lot of hours actually, just in it to actually trying to get this thing freaking straight. Just because of the color that we're planning on painting it, I don't want you to be able to look down the side of it and actually see like, oh, you see, did he do a spray out?
Not a spray out, but he showed the things that make it the thing.
The expensive stuff that goes in there and makes it change. So it's definitely going to be a really cool color, and in order for this thing to pull that color off, it's going to have to be freaking straight. So sorry I haven't had a video up. I think it's probably, this will be day number 6 or 7 without a video. But again, it's just it's hard to say. I mean, I sat around for about 2 days procrastinating on this thing, working on it just a little bit here and there, kind of second guessing myself, and then, you know, taking it over to Josh, and, you know, I was watching him do it, and I'm like, damn, I could do that. Like, I know what I'm doing. And I think I'm guilty, just probably about how all you guys are. You know, when somebody else is in the room that knows more than you, instantly you act like you don't know anything. And I think that's kind of what I did. I was like, hey, you know, I want you to, you know, show me this. And I was like, man, I know what I'm doing. And so again, I'm gonna have him kind of mess with the arches just a little bit. So the next video should be us going over a little bit of that, and hopefully getting this thing in primer, because as you guys know, when there's a lot of body work, it means there's gonna be some freaking primer. And so we went ahead and added a little extra layer of dust to the rainy day Supra over here. This is a little protection, you know, a little protective layer of dust on there.
Building up the ultimate barn find.
Yeah, we're just, one of these days,
barn find video.
We're gonna, you know, when we pull this thing out of here, it's literally gonna look like we pulled it out of a freaking barn. And then we'll do the full restoration and stuff on that, and then I'll have me a nice retirement. So yeah, I think that's about it. That's about all I have to say on this. See you guys in the next video.